We saw most of these blame games between the state authorities and the federal government. This has happened. In fact, there was a time that there was a doubt if those girls were really abducted. And it came a time also where should that school actually be running at that time? Should those students be actually sitting under a certain security situation? It was a long time of debate and blame game.
You know, part of the problem is that we don't run an accountable system. And let me say something people may not be happy about that I have canvassed for years. I think until the world holds African leaders accountable, the African people seem unable to hold their leaders accountable. Just Nigeria, across Africa. I was one of those who campaigned for an international criminal court, very stoutly. And I still tell the story of one morning in 1997, walking into the meeting of the editorial board of the Boston newspaper, the Christian Science Monitor, and talking about the idea of an international criminal court. Because it's about institutions that make people account. And I raised the issue of genocide and international criminal court. And I raised another one, the issue of an international economic crimes court that can hold leaders who underdevelop their people because of corruption, because they are not committed to truly leading their people. And I think that by the time we put a few of our leaders on trial at The Hague, we will see changes. People said international. By the way, everybody said the international criminal court will not happen. Even the editorial board of Christian Science Monitor told me I was an idealist. It won't happen.
But it is today.
2-3 years later, the Treaty of Rome was passed, and that happened. I'm still waiting for an international economic crimes court that will hold leaders. And with the kind of thing they're beginning to see of us, the world will be more inspired to go in that direction because we can't seem to help ourselves. We need to be helped.
I mean, terrorism seems to be a global issue now. In Urumqi, in China, recently, 2-3 days ago, there was an attack there. Soft targets, just like we saw in Jos, marketplaces and all of that. Some in other climes, they face these challenges differently. Do you think our own is peculiar to us? And if it is, do we need a peculiar answer to it? Or where should we go from here?
Well, I think that every problem has a local dimension. And it's important that even though these are global, if you will, crimes, because people learn from the other and connect to the other. For example, what we are worried about today was a small festering sore, which we did not manage properly when we should have managed it. And in the process, when we got tough, the people that were trying to chase all ran away and ran off to Sahrawi, Arab Republic, Libya, and those kinds of places, and they got trained. They developed contacts with Al-Qaeda and all of those places. Now we're part of a big global phenomenon. But we first need a local understanding, and we must hold local leaders accountable. I am of the opinion that we should say to people, they are leaders from whatever part of our countries that have challenges. You people from Niger Delta, if you don't stop what is going on in your place, this is the consequence of your being part of this federation. You people from the Northeast, if you can't stop what is going on in your place, let leaders account. Because when this whole thing started, it was not a thing aimed at religion. If you remember, we were attacking people of all kinds of religious backgrounds. More importantly, they were attacking power, authority. These were essentially anarchists that are trying to bring down a civilization. But instead of working together to end it, we pussyfooted around the subject. And then later, when it became a truly big sore, we began to look for who to blame.
Does it bring to your mind the issue of state policing and how we can police our very immediate environment properly?
I think each time I listen to this argument about reasons why we shouldn't have state police, I'm saddened by the disingenuity of our elite. Policing is a local function, can only be effective as a local function. Even the Nigerian police force has organized community policing programs that I attended in Abuja. How can you organize community policing in Abuja? It's in the community. The reason the British police is effective is the old woman sitting in her you know, in some corner window, seeing everybody that passes and knows one wrong person who's usually not found on the street, who has just gone past. And she calls somebody. Policing is fundamentally a local function. It is the corruption of the Nigerian system that makes us want to centralize everything. It's about corruption. Everything is corruption.
Do you think community policing or state policing can actually go a long way to help us tackle this issue of insurgency?
Indeed. If the local policeman is somebody from the community, knows the troublemakers in the community, it's easy to fish out the troublemakers and deal with. Then if you send some detached person who has come from a couple of 100 miles away, and as far as he's concerned, he's just there to, well, extract whatever he can from the community, not a member of that community who wants to see the good of that community advanced, you get different results. Part of the excuse that is given is the local authorities can use local policing to abuse their opponents. I think the federal government doesn't use the federal police to abuse its opponents. The truth of the matter is that policing is multi-layered. In the United States of America, if it's a human rights issue, it automatically kicks off to the FBI. And so if there are local rights issues, a federal police structure can respond to that. But ideally, to get things to work, you need a local policing agency.
Interesting. For all, I mean, as we round up now, for all these issues that Nigeria has on its hand, we are approaching 2015. The national conference is there. We have this insurgency, the debate whether or not in those three major states that is experiencing, that is most hit with this insurgency, should have elections or not. That particular debate is there. What do you think the leadership of this country should be looking at, having the confab on one hand?
I think we need an all-politicians conference in which politicians decide to be of good behavior and to serve the Nigerian people. All-politicians conference. Politicians are destroying Nigeria. That is the truth of the matter. And they should be held accountable. By the way, I'm a politician myself, you know, so I want to be held accountable for that. I think that when we deal with that, the national conference, I'm not a big fan of it for a variety of reasons. There's too much emphasis on the structure, you know, resource control, this. The challenge before Nigeria is the Nigerian character, the character of the Nigerian elite. And we need to engage those kinds of issues. What are the values that should determine how you engage? What does it mean that you are a Nigerian? And what should being a true citizen ensure that you do to make tomorrow better for your children? And I think it's because the average age in the confab is 60-something years. We need to bring it down to 30-something years.
Wow. Interesting. Thank you so much, Professor Pat Utomi, for sharing your thoughts, and I hope that we'll all see that this nation will get better and will get back on its feet. And all those who are planning to bring it down, they will not achieve their aims. Well, I've been talking with Professor Pat Utomi. It's been involved in the political activities in Nigeria since the Second Republic, and he's still ill and hearty talking to us about what should be done for Nigeria to move forward. My name is Sean Kimbale. On behalf of the team, it's been a wonderful experience. I hope you join me next time. Bye for now.